What became a staple of mine would be to get these autographs and try to get the celebrities to write the most asinine quotes from their films.
Don't with me.
For this segment, we'd go down memory lane.
Okay.
And I'm going to reminisce about some of the celebrities I've met at conventions or, screenings over the years. This first one is I went to a screening of Repo Man in Philadelphia where Alex Cox was present. Alex Cox is the writer, director of Repo Man. He also did Sid and Nancy. It was at a bar, basically. They had a screen set up. I'm sitting there, everyone's getting in their seats, and I look over and I see him. Dude's just standing there. And it's clear, I don't think anybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
So I just walked up and started talking to him. And he was very personable, very nice to me. And I didn't know exactly what to say to him. So I started talking about Sid and Nancy. Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols, John Lydon, he had always trashed that film.
And they've done this rather snidey kind of piece of work behind my back.
So I wanted to ask Alex Cox, hey, is that true? He hated you. He hates this movie. And Alex Cox said, he was a very lovely man, very well-mannered and nice. He came down to the set for the day. We had lunch, shit like that.
So would you have him sign? Just his name? What does that say, XXX up there?
I didn't tell him to write that. He wrote that. I'm glad you pointed that out because a lot of what became a staple of mine would be to get these autographs and try to get the celebrities to write the most asinine quotes from their films.
Was Emilio Estevez there that night?
No, he was not.
He was busy filming Wisdom.
Fuck you.
Ooh, this is when I met the great Alex Winter. And this was before the third Bill and Ted. So there was no line. There's probably no line for him to this day. He was really nice. He was impressed that I watched his documentary on Napster. I couldn't think of any real iconic lines. He suggested 69, dude.
69, dudes!
And we went in the bathroom and we performed a 69 on each other.
Class act. Coming up next, we've got Billy Zane.
This dude is nuts. This guy is exactly what he is. Who he plays in Titanic, that is Billy Zane, man. First off, I'm a huge Demon Knight fan. So one of my favorite stupid lines in it that really means nothing. There's this small line where he goes, if it makes you feel good, do it.
If it makes you feel good, do it.
Makes you feel good, do it.
All right, write that, please. And he's like, sure. And he looked at me. He's like, what's your name? I was like, Russ. He's like, Rusty. And he starts writing. Like, what? And he took my phone and does this selfie shit with me. He's like, I'll see you later, Rusty. The one when I met Curtis Armstrong, this was on a Sunday morning.
Ooh.
Which if you've ever been to these weekend conventions.
No one shows up to Sunday morning.
Everyone's burnt out. They want to leave. They want to go home. I've never seen a man look more depressed in my life. Dude, I almost didn't even go up to him. Oh, what do you want to write? I was, well, do the quote from
Is this something he said to him?
Oh, yeah. Literally, in this scene, this is what he's saying to him.
What the fuck gives you freedom? Freedom brings opportunity. Opportunity makes your future.
Try to pep him up as, dude, you're not just Booger. You're not a nerd. You were in this classic.
He was.
He probably went home and killed himself anyway after.
And who do we have here, Russ?
Miss Danielle Harris.
Danielle Harris.
By the time I met her, I was getting more comfortable with asking for ludicrous signings. If you'll pay attention here, she signed it, Russ, you're such a fuck up.
God, you're such a fuck up.
This is in The Last Boy Scout. But honestly, I'm a bigger fan of Last Boy Scout and In Living Color.
Yes.
Which, if you recall, there is one sketch. And it's Arsenio, isn't it? It's Keenan doing Arsenio with the kids on drugs,
One time I was smoking a roach.
That's really cool. Why not just turn the lights on and yell, raid? They always scatter.
And that's literally what I asked her. I was like, what was it like on In Living Color?
Does she remember?
I didn't ask her about Halloween or anything. She was nice, dude.
Yeah.
She was like,
Eat shit, you fucking redneck.
Tell me what we're looking at here, Russ.
well, this is when you and I get Ernie Hudson canceled. Ernie Hudson, honestly, the coolest guy I met. You know, everyone Ghostbusters and maybe The Crow. I'm like, dude, I want to talk to you about Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
No.
And of course, this scene in this movie, I loved this movie as a child, saw it when I was 10. This scene is like so evil. What she says to him.
Yes.
What do you want to write? And I said, well, could you write?
Don't fuck with me, retard.
And he didn't even like react negatively or positively. He's like, yeah, sure.
Just kidding.
I asked him about Rebecca de Mornay, and his literal words were, she was a nightmare. Like a nightmare.
Wow.
And then he said, because I asked him to sign this, right? He referred to this scene. And if you've seen the scene in this movie, she says this to him and she slaps him. That was not in the script.
The slap wasn't.
No, the slap was not in the script. She was not directed to do that. That was an improvisation. And his reaction is real because he was not expecting to get slapped.
Yeah.
That role, that's her in real life. That's not acting. And Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Jennifer Rubin.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I'm in line to meet someone else, and this is all in the same room. My friend and I, we look over, and there's no one in her line, and we see her going in her purse and pulling out a bottle and swigging it.
Because I'm going through some very strange shit.
And there was no one in line, so I walk up.
Oh, yeah. Big, tough, badass.
We took one picture, you know, just like you do. Like she's like, nah, let's do that again. Let's do that again. And then she starts putting her arm around me and all this stuff. And she's like, nah, you still didn't get the right picture. She's like putting her leg up like she was wasted, dude.
Me too.
And I'm kind of joking with her back. I got her to sign this. She threw me off guard by doing all that. I mean, come on. I watched her on a tube television as a child.
Yes.
It was very surreal.
In my dreams, I'm beautiful. And bad.
And she didn't have anyone with her.
She was enamored by you.
Hey, man, she looked all right in The Crush.
She looks good in Nightmare 3. Look at her in this outfit. She looks good.
There. But for the rest of the movie, she's kind of...
Well, she's like a strung out drug addict, isn't she?
That's usually my type, man.
Fuck off!
The man,
The
John
man, here we
Carpenter.
are.
I want to bring this one up.
Here it comes. Yeah. Here it comes.
I was geeked out.
Yeah,
what do you say to John Carpenter?
He made me believe he was Elvis Presley.
This is Kelly Jo Mintzer. And if you're unfamiliar with her, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, obviously, but she's also in Summer School. She's also in, as I've covered on this channel before, one of my favorite films of all time, House Party.
If I'm a bitch, your mama's a bitch.
She's the one that actually started this idea of where I'm going to get celebrities to write outlandish quotes. She was really cool, too. She was impressed that I was bringing up like Summer School and all this stuff.
Yeah.
When I thought about it, I was like, man, she's in this one small scene in House Party that always makes me laugh. I'm like, I'm sorry. I know I just met you to that, but can I ask you to write, if I'm a bitch, your mama's a bitch? And she just started laughing hysterically. And she was like, sure.
He's a lying dog, because I definitely told him to get out of my face first.
And now we have this segment here and her to thank for it.
We do. I miss her, man. She was in a few classics.
No.
God damn. Talk about intimidating. Meeting Malcolm McDowell. Huge Clockwork Orange fan since I was a child. I don't care, just looking at him, even in person, and he's an old man. I had doubt. I was like, I'm not going to ask him to write. I wanted him to write.
Come and get one in the yarbles! If you have any yarbles!
I was like, fuck it, let me ask. Hey, would you mind writing? Get one in the yarbles if you have any yarbles. And he literally goes, no. Like that was literally his reaction. No, I will not write that. How about Viddy Well?
Viddy well, little brother. Viddy well.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Anything you want. I am not entertaining your bullshit. I will write Viddy Well for you, just like I'm writing for every other person walking through this line. Shannon Elizabeth. I'm not even a big Shannon Elizabeth fan. Yeah, dude, I've never seen a person more uncomfortable in my life.
Really?
Very funny.
I mean, she was like a sex symbol to all of these gross middle-aged horror fans that are swarming this enclosed space you were in. You know, she did have some dudes there who were obviously like casual security.
Yeah.
But yeah, she looked very disengaged. She like disengaged,
Yeah.
and I didn't blame her.
How did you handle it, Russ? What did you?
I was just
you made her
not-
comfortable, Russ.
I didn't.
Were you swarming?
Actually, when I met her, my wife was with me too, so that probably
No
helped.
swarming then.
Yes. But she was a sweetheart.
She was nice.
She was a sweetheart. It was just I felt bad for her being in that.
Tommy Wiseau naked from at least the waist up, but maybe more.
Christ, this was weird. I went to a room screening. He shows up at these, hosts them. You get to meet him. As long as you buy something, he'll sign like any of his products, any of his merchandise. He will sign something and take a picture with you and talk to you. Dude, this was the weirdest shit in the world. He is exactly what he is in that movie. Like, just the way he's, hi.
Yeah.
You got the picture? I'll tag another one. He got, ha. He's like looking over it. Dude, it was so bizarre.
Anyway, how is your sex life?
Dude, you are this. You're not a character. So just to see that in real life, yeah, it was crazy. And I'm a huge fan of The Room, so it was
To
love.
Russ, love Tommy.
And of course, I picked this picture because it was the most ridiculous 8x10 he had out there.
Yeah, it looks great.
Everything else was like from the room, like, nah, I want your shirtless self.
69, dudes!
Russ, thank you for sharing
Yeah, man.
these
it's
exciting
funny.
stories of your time at these conventions and all the fun people you've met.
Hey, we're all collectors, man. It's
We all
stuff like this. Yeah. If anybody out there, hey, if you guys enjoy this segment, I've got more. I just kind of touched the tip of the iceberg here with a few stories. Let us know in the comments.
Let us know if you want some more deep cuts from Russ's time at these fantastic conventions. Maybe we should go to a convention, Russ. Maybe we should show up there.
I told you, dude, we need to set up a booth.
No.